The best way to learn and engage with UCI is to contact our student ambassadors. We have a number of student ambassadors. It's usually 6 to 8 student ambassadors, and when we're picking our student ambassadors, we look for diversity, and diversity across the board. Male, female, ethnic diversity, but also job function diversity. And it's on our website. Our students have bios, so if a potential applicant is interested in our program, and let's say, for example, they want to get into consulting, they can go onto our student ambassador page, find our student ambassador who either had a background from consulting, is now maybe a career transitioner, or was coming from another background and now wants to get into consulting. So that's the best way because it gives direct feedback as far as the campus experience and what the next 2 years would look like for the applicant. We're looking for somebody first with work experience. We want that to be brought into the classroom because that enhances the classroom experience, and also it allows our students to learn from each other. You don't need to be a CEO or anything like that. We are looking for career progression, whether it be titles or whether it be just responsibilities. Second is leadership capabilities. We really value that. It's something that we believe in. It's something that's core to our culture. And the last thing is somebody that is going to have the drive and the commitment to see the program through and really kind of excel and get involved not only on campus but off campus as well. I have my MBA myself, and so when I'm interviewing an applicant, one of the things I'm evaluating while I'm speaking to the applicant is if I was back in an MBA program and I was in your group, would I be upset? Or would I be happy because you're adding value and you're adding something that I don't bring to the table? That's one of the first things. The second thing I'm looking at is, do you have the maturity and emotional intelligence that I can put you in front of any employer that we work closely with or any alumni? Because that's really big for us. So those are kind of the things that we're looking for. I actually ended up doing a JD MBA program. So I did law school first and then I did the MBA after because there were 2 separate schools. So law school, you don't need work experience. You can come straight out of undergrad, which I took 1 year off and then went. People ask me to this day, would I do it all over again, knowing what I know now, knowing that I don't practice, would I still do the JD MBA program? The answer is always yes. But one thing I would do differently is I work for a couple more years because I was one of those applicants who didn't have a lot of work experience, which didn't really affect me on the law school side. It did on the MBA side. I don't feel like I got the full experience. And it wasn't until a couple of years after I had graduated where I was really out and working that I had those kind of aha moments where, oh, well, when I was in class, it was kind of theory, but now had I brought this experience into the group project or the group presentation or something that I was doing within the program, I would have gotten more value out of it. So for students with limited work experience, I would say speak to as many people as you can, whether it's a mentor, whether it's a job that you are looking for after graduation. And if you can do maybe an informational interview and say, this is how much work experience I have. This is the end goal of what I want. And your recommendation, should I work for a couple more years? What is the best path? Because this is the end path I want to be at, and this is where I'm at right now. How do I get to that end point? I think one of the things that makes us unique is our location. We're located in between Los Angeles and San Diego. We're located in the backyard of a biotechnology hub. There is now a big startup and a big tech scene that is happening in Orange County, where everybody knows Silicon Valley. Now Silicon Valley has kind of slid down to Silicon Beach, which is in Los Angeles, which now that is actually sliding down to Orange County. So we are in the backyard of technology, of consulting, of finance, of entertainment. This is both on a staff and a student level. I think our culture. When we admit a student, the first thing we send them in an email says, welcome to the Merage family. And we're a smaller cohort and we really much look at our students and UCI as a family and the Paul Merage family. So I think that's one thing that really stands out, that our students are supported before they even get into the program until well after the program. And we really not only want to have a lasting impression as far as their classroom experience, but we also want them to feel like they're welcomed and they're very much valued at our program. We have centers for excellence. One of those is the Cove, and it's our on-campus incubator where students can develop their ideas. They can speak to VCs. It is on campus. It is a huge they had to actually move to another building because it got so big, so they're on a couple floors, but it is our center for innovation. And on top of that, we run a new venture capital competition every year where students from the Paul Merage School, no matter what program, whether it's full-time MBA, whether it's JD MBA, whether it's specialized master's programs, they can either come together as groups or they can do it solo, and they don't need a business plan. They can have something as simple as a pitch, and they pitch their ideas to VCs we bring on campus, to our alumni, to our faculty, and their seed money. Last year, $100,000 was spread out over, I believe, 5 teams that won, and it's seed money for their pitch. So we're UC school systems, so we actually start a little bit later in September. Most schools that are on semester systems, if not all schools, start in August. Recruiting for summer internships, really by a lot of companies, starts in September. We didn't want our students at any disadvantage of, hey, I'm just starting the program, I'm just getting through orientation, and now I have to look for a job. This is a lot at one time. So our career development office really takes it upon themselves to start reaching out to our students in the summer and working with our students in the summer. So by the time September comes, and yeah, there's orientation classes just started, but they've already hit the ground running and they're already being prepared for interviews, for career expos, to meet with hiring managers, to start networking, to going to these events. So I think that is the one thing that stands out. And us being a smaller cohort allows our career development to really give highly personalized attention to our students, whether it's career visioning, whether it's assessment exams, whether it is events that we have what we call the Bay Area Trek, where we take students every year up to Silicon Valley and tour companies that we have great relationships with. Whether it's resume critiquing, mock interviews, if we have an alumni at a company that we know one of our students is going to interview for, we'll set them up and do a mock interview with that alumni before they even interview with the company. So that way they have a dry run of understanding what that interview is going to look like with somebody who was in the same program and understands where that student's coming from.
Admit me, never apply alone.